Good morning. Happy F It All Friday, and welcome to another episode of my Writer Corner. I am H.M. Barone, and as you can see, the weather has improved significantly from last week. It is much warmer despite the rainstorm that occurred about 2 hours ago. It was thundering, it was lightning, it was torrential downpour. They had a severe thunderstorm warning. But it's been hour and a half, almost 2 hours since the last thunder and lightning. So it is most assuredly safe to go out on the water. And out on the water I am, because this has been another one of those weeks. Got an 86 on my chemistry final. Had an overall average of 86 for the class. So, yay. Got a 98 on my bio final. Would have had 100 if I had done my DNA transcription and translation right. But I am not smart enough for genetics. And I better get smart enough because I have an entire class in genetics next spring. So, yeah, there's that. But anyways, it landed me an overall average of about 90 in my molecular bio class. So I have every expectation of getting another email saying, hey, guess what, you're on the dean's list. And it seems like since I changed my major and started doing something that I love again, I have been getting better grades. Now, don't get me wrong, when I had planned to go into the nursing program, the C's would have still gotten me a degree, but now I'm doing something that I love, and I've already most likely found what I'm going to be doing my doctoral thesis on in, like 8 years. But there hasn't been much development on this particular topic. No real breakthroughs in like 20 years plus. So, I think I'm pretty safe on that point. But anyways, I just got off of an 8-hour shift where I was basically by myself as an aide. The RN supervisor was amazing and helped me out with some of my more challenging residents. The LPN helped me get a couple of guys up and going for their departure and appointments. But for the most part, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. In fact, I've already cleared my targeted steps for the day. And that was just between midnight and 7 a.m. So yeah, fun times. Yesterday, I basically doubled my step goal because I gave in to adult peer pressure. That's right, boys and girls, I mowed my lawn. It took me 3.5 hours because the grass was knee-high, and I had to stop for 15 minutes because I felt like I was going to vomit and pass out, and I'd run out of gas. So I took a break, hydrated, cooled down, filled the gas tank, and wrapped it up. I did make sure to leave plenty of flowers out for the pollinators. My peonies look like they're about ready to start popping open any day now, at least the ones in the front. I got the front yard and side yard all decorated for the summer. The solar lights are out. The flags are out. The wind chimes are hung. I do have to do a couple of minor repairs on a couple of the wind chimes. But overall, yeah, I am pretty stoked about my living space. And after I get done here, I have every intention of popping by my parents' house, grabbing a couple of things that my mom's left out for me, stopping by my favorite cafe to get some breakfast, going home and bringing up the patio furniture, setting up the patio, and starting to write. Because the summer session stuff doesn't open until tomorrow. I have today off, and I need to write. I need to finish the chapter that I'm working on, chapter 3 of book 4, Coralon Zephyroth, and I need to move along. Now, in my podcast, I will most likely be talking about a couple of characters who are moving into more prominence. I believe I discussed Prince Glaive and Princess Anya a couple of seasons ago, but I'm not sure, so I'll have to go back through and check on that. But that's also my podcast. But lately, I've just really, in these particular shows, I have been rambling inanely, which is what my podcast is for. But as for being a writer, even a self-published author with, 5, 6, 7, 8 books out now, because Allies Deceit is available for purchase on every media platform except for Amazon Kindle and Hoopla. Now, I've never heard of Hoopla, but I have heard of Amazon Kindle. Apparently, both of them take exceptionally longer to publish on than most of the other sites. So, yeah, there's that. But once those, but they're still available for purchase at $3.99. I know, I'm a cheap date. What can I say? Of course, if you wait until July, we have our summer-winter sale, and the Zoe Jane books and the first 2 Way of the Fist books will be available for free, and Allies Deceit will be available for purchase for 99 cents. So, there's that. What else? I'm going to be making some serious character alterations. Well, some characters are reverting personalities to what they were in the first book because of things that happened in the third book. Other characters, their personalities are going to be brought into the forefront more. My amazing art goddess asked me how come certain characters didn't end up on the cover of this most recent book, and there's a myriad reasons. The cover, I wanted to focus on one set of things overshadowed by something else, and I'm sure that once I settle on at least the first draft and start talking to my art goddess about the layout for this 4th book, it's not going to have as many characters. Oh my lord, I can't believe I didn't talk about Hajib and Kim Shira and Nafir in my podcast. But anyways, yeah, they are going to be stepping forward more. Blythe and Jamian are going to be fighting in the Coralon Sephiroth. Alita, who is a recently introduced character, is going to be a little bit more prominent, so my art goddess is probably going to have fun with her because, half-elf bard. Woohoo! Davin, the half-elf healer, is definitely going to be an interesting character. And I have been listening to more of the Driz Stewart series, and my art goddess has also quite passionately been promoting certain monster race changes, we'll say, and I recently had an epiphany about some things with that and everything that has recently transpired with the Monster Wars. So that is probably not going to be too terribly prominent right now in these books, but most definitely it will be in the sequel series. Yes, there is a sequel series because my brain works like that. I've already partially written the first 3 books in the sequel series. But, not going into that. Just going to focus on Way of the Fist, Coralon Sephiroth right now. Because it needs to get written. But, found a really cute idea to sort of stave off some of the adult peer pressure on my front yard. And also, thwart the money-grubbing insurance companies, because they've been charging me extra $100 a year because of a garden, because I could potentially use it for income, even though with work and college, I've barely had time to do anything for the last year and some change. But anyways, so we're going to put veggies out in front along with flowers, and make an interesting front yard that I really don't have to mow that much. And depending on what I find down in my basement, I might bring that around to the backyard as well. But yeah, pictures will be following on Facebook eventually. So check that out. Follow me on Facebook. I've got like 3 different pages. One for my personal, one for The Way of the Fist, and one for Zoe Jane Files. So check those out. Like me, follow me. I'm also on Instagram. I occasionally pop up on TikTok, although with my 2-year-old phone and its craptacular memory, I recently had to delete that app. It's, I use it every once in a while to promo my books, and this particular channel, as well as my podcast. But really, I am not a TikToker. I don't have that much free time on my hands. I mean, as I'm sitting here soaking in my hydrotherapy and recording this particular show. But anyways, so yeah, hopefully next week I will be able to say, oh my goodness, I've got one more day of an absolutely insane week, and then I am spending the weekend writing, because I really need to get myself in gear. But as always, thank you so much for following me. Like and subscribe. Check out my books. And if you do buy my books and read them, please read them, leave a comment, something, so that I can get more out there in the world. But anyways, thank you so much. Have a great day and a safe weekend. And I hope y'all had a lovely Mother's Day. So take care. Bye-bye.